What up, what up? This is Ace the OG. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you get some out of it. So the title of this video is how to make money if you're homeless. So we're adding those things against all subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out, give leverage to better it sells. So let's get into it. So how do you make money if you're homeless? So I work in DC, been in DC a lot over the last year since I've been working here. And I've seen a lot of folks on the streets, of course, that are homeless. Folks that have their cups out, folks that have their hands out. And there's no hit on anybody that's homeless. Like I said before in a previous video, I could have been homeless myself a couple of times in my life. And I've had family members that have been homeless, so there's no hit on them at all. Actually, crazy enough, I've seen a lot of homeless men and women in DC that actually refuse to do a handout. I've been a couple of times where I've actually walked past somebody that's homeless and I offered them some cash. If I had cash on me, of course. We live in almost like a cashless society right now, so a lot of times I don't carry cash with me. But the couple of times that I have, because some of the businesses around here in DC, that you actually can pay for something a lot cheaper using cash instead of using a card. But a couple of times I've actually had cash with me. I would pass by a homeless person, and it came on my heart to give them money, and more than half of them said no. I don't know if it's a pride thing or what, but that's just one of the things that I think happens in DC. A lot of homeless people, they have pride, or they just don't want to have a handout. They just came on bad times, and they want to get it on their own. And I totally respect that, right? But I'm gonna go over a couple of things you can do to actually mitigate those things as far as making money if you're homeless, or if you have a situation to where you're about to be homeless, right? Because we don't want that to happen either. Of course, panhandling is illegal in a lot of places, but in DC, it's not. I mean, you can actually be on the street and actually ask for money. And I say ask instead of beg because I want to be respectful. And being homeless is not an easy thing for a lot of folks. You have a lot of folks out there that have a lot of pride, and it's very humbling for you to be in a situation to where you don't have a home to lay your head in, right? So, but you can definitely do that. And during the summertime, there's a lot of tourists that come into big cities like this, like in DC. So there's a lot of folks out here that if you don't have a home and you actually do that as far as panhandle, you can make actually a pretty decent amount of money for the day. At the very least, you can be able to eat for the day, right? Buy yourself 3 meals, provided that you don't spend a lot of money on food, because food, of course, is definitely high now in 2024. Inflation is real, so you got to be sensible when it comes to buying your food. I saw one guy one time that said he spent like $40 a day on food, and he lived with one of his cousins. So in a sense, he was kind of homeless, but but he still had a place to go to lay his head. But he was like, I don't have a job, but I don't spend a lot of my cousin doesn't pay for my food, so I have to pay for my own food. And he said he spent $40 a day in food. I'm like, that's crazy. It's kind of raining right now, y'all, so I'm gonna go under this tree. But so being sensible with that, as far as asking folks for money when you're on the street, it's definitely a way to make a little bit of cash. Now, what I would do personally, especially during the summertime, once I got a certain amount of cash on the street, I would actually go to a store, buy some cases of water, and hopefully secure like a wagon or something like that, or like a grocery cart, and then go around and start selling bottles of water for like $2 a piece. Now you can make the money back, because a case of water may run you maybe like $5. Let's say you buy a 24 pack of water, right? So that's 24 times 2. So you make like $48, right? Of course, you minus the $5 you paid for the water. But that's a viable way to make money, especially if you're down and out and you need to actually have a way to flip some for cash. If you become homeless, or you get in a situation to where like you really don't have a job, you can't get a job, flipping is one of the easiest ways for you to start making money, right? And what I mean flipping is, I mean, like, like you have something you already own, and then you basically you try to sell the money, at least try to sell the product to either the price you bought it for, or try to sell it for more than what you bought it for. And in that sense, you're of course you're sustaining yourself. And at the very least, the one thing you need to worry about and be concerned about, especially if you're in a situation to where you're homeless, is, because homeless shelters are all over the place right now. I have met some folks that actually try to get into a homeless shelter, or at least somewhere to lay their head at night. And some places, depending on like how populated it is a waiting list. I know some folks that actually were homeless, and it literally, they was out on the street for days because the homeless shelter was that full. It's a sad situation, but sometimes that could happen. But one of the main things you need to really worry about and be concerned about, especially if you're in an environment where it's hot, and it's not cold, is to figure out how you're gonna eat, right? And of course, you can find food pantries, you can find other places where you can actually, procure some food. But the shelter thing definitely is very important. But to sustain yourself and be able to get water and to get food is definitely a big thing as well. I've seen situations in DC here where folks have went dumpster diving and they actually grabbed items out of the dumpster and actually sold it to pawn shops. That's another way for you to make money. You would think that folks don't throw away a lot of things that are viable here in DC or in a big city, but trust me, especially in the richier parts of DC, folks that throw stuff away just for, I'm not gonna say for meanness, but there's a lot of folks that they throw stuff away that is not necessarily something that should be thrown away. Like they should donate it to to the Goodwill, or they should sell it online. But a lot of folks are very I'm not sure the word to say when it comes to that, but basically they're not necessarily careless, but it's one of those things like I have so much money, or I'm so well off that like I don't really care about this item, even though it's not used up all the way. I'm just going to just toss it. So you'd be surprised how many folks will throw something away. Then it's like you go to the dumpster and find, you're like, man, like this is crazy. Like why would somebody throw this away? So you can actually because you may not have a phone and you have a place to to go online and sell something, you just go to the local pawn shop. And the pawn shop will clean it up and they'll give you some money for it. And of course it's gonna be like pennies on the dollar, but it's money. You can't be picky or choosy if you're on the streets, right? One thing I will say about the pawn shop is the pawn shop is gonna fingerprint you. So if you're a criminal, or if you're a person that you don't want your identity to be out there, then that may be an issue for you, right? But that's just another viable way to make money. Also, if you have a friend or somebody that doesn't mind you using their address, you can donate plasma, meaning that you can go out there and actually donate blood. Now, of course, you have to be somewhat healthy. You can't be a person that has any type of sickness. But if you're healthy enough, you can donate plasma, and you should be get some money for that as well. I've seen some folks that made almost $400 a month just donating plasma. Donating plasma will make you weak because, of course, you're giving blood. But that's another viable way for you to be able to make some kind of cash for yourself. What else? You can also drop some things in the comments as well, as far as like what you may seem is doable, or what you may seem is viable for someone to make money if they're homeless. But I just wanted to make this video to actually put that information out there, because I've passed by so many folks that are homeless here in DC, and it's a sad thing. You want to help folks, and I have helped a lot of folks here in DC, but you can't help everybody, right? And I pass by folks all day, every day, that are up on hard times, and this is 2024. Have a lot of folks out here that they're just in a bad spot, and they may not know what the hell to do when it comes to them making some type of money or change for themselves. But there's so many ways for you to make money in this digital age. Even if you don't have a phone or a computer, that it can still translate to things that can make you money. Also, another thing that I would like to put out there is I had a cousin by marriage, one of my wife's cousins, was homeless at one time, and he actually went to some of these local shops and businesses that was around the area he lived at, and he actually asked, like, do you want somebody to clean your windows and sweep the sidewalk or whatever for you, on certain days. And he was able to make money that way. Something that I probably would have thought of myself as well if I had ever became homeless. But when you get in a situation to where you're actually like down and out, you're actually in a situation where you have like nothing to lose, and you just in a situation where it's just almost like desperation. Like you really, really need to have something happen for you. Innovation happens. It really does. You'd be surprised how many things you can think of as far as trying to make money if you're in a situation to where you don't have a job, you can't get a job. And I know a lot of folks may come in this video and be like, the person just need to get off their tail and get a job. Well, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of folks deal with mental health. There's a lot of folks deal with anxiety and some other things. And there's some folks out there, man and women, that really cannot hold a 9-to-5 job. They cannot hold a job. And it's a sad situation, but this is how we sustain ourselves in society as a whole. So it's just very difficult for someone to navigate life if they can't work, whether it be a mental thing or physical thing. But like I said, these are just some ideas that I wanted to put out there for folks that are homeless, or hopefully are not on the verge of being homeless. But some things they need to think about as far as like how they're gonna navigate trying to get money if they can't hold a job or they can't get a job. Please drop some ideas in the comments. I did want to push this video out there as much as possible because I'm all about helping folks. I'm all about being able to impart knowledge in people and to help them give them leverage to better themselves. And it's one of those aspects when it comes to this channel, is to making sure that I try to hit all angles, all aspects. And this particular video is focusing on the homeless here, not necessarily in DC, but everywhere in America. It's just a sad situation or whatever. So I just wanted to put some ideas out there for folks to be able to sustain themselves. So hopefully this reaches out to the masses as much as possible, and I endeavor to keep pushing video out. Leverage.